Hey guys, it's Kara with Butterboos. Today I'm going to go over how to crochet the basic crochet stitches and just do a quick rundown of the different types of stitches and how you do them. First, I would like to show you the gauges to show you the different stitches. This is a single crochet. It is 10 rows across, or 10 stitches across 10 rows. This is a half double crochet, 10 stitches across and 10 rows. You can see the difference in the height and stitches. This is your double crochet. You can see it's much taller than the half double and of course much taller than the single crochet. It's also more airy. This is your treble crochet or triple crochet. It's definitely more spacey, taller. They're long post-like columns. You'll use these as your basic stitches throughout your crochet activities. So first step is to do a slip knot. A slip knot is what attaches the yarn to your hook to get you going. So first thing I like to do is use my thumb, put the tail into the yarn in my palm, kind of hold it with my hands and my thumb, put my two fingers out while I'm holding my thumb against this yarn here, wrapping from the back end around to the front, and then come back around there and cross it towards the back of my hand. Then personally, I like to hold it down with my pinky just to give it a little stabilizer. And I'm still holding the tail end of the yarn, the loose end, with my thumb. So then I use my hook and I come underneath this first loop that's on my finger, grab this back loop here and just pull it underneath, and then kind of let go of my thumb and my pinky. My ring caught it. And then I just pull it a little tight, and then you have your slip knot. Obviously, that's too loose to do anything, so you just tighten it up by using your hands. And your tail end of your yarn is just kind of loose there. Don't worry about that, but you will use it to pinch your fingers, but eventually it'll be down your work and you won't have to worry about it. So you want to hold your yarn. I like to hold mine where it's over my pinky finger, under my ring, under my middle, and over my pointer finger. My pinky and my index finger here are used as tension fingers. So that's just personally how I like to hold it. You can hold it many different ways. You just have to figure out what is comfortable for you. Now, when you turn your hand over and you still have your yarn in your hand like this, turn your hand over. You're going to use your thumb and your middle finger and even your ring finger as pincher fingers to hold your work as you're working. Those kind of stabilize it. You want to move them with your project as you're going. And again, that just comes with practice, and you'll figure out what is most comfortable to you as time goes. So first things first, we're gonna use we have our yarn in our hand. If you are too loose, you can just kind of use your hand, pull it closer down here, and then use your middle and your thumb. This kind of placement. They're pinchers. They're pinching right there at that slip knot. You want to make sure that your hook is loose, but not too loose, where you have it way up here like this. And if it does happen, you just kind of tighten that back up. It will loosen and it can get tighter, but you don't want to choke it out. You don't want it to make it too tight, because then you won't be able to work into it. So use your middle and your thumb to hold that little knot. And we're going to do a foundation chain. Everything that you do will be built into a foundation chain. think of it as brick wall, having to put the foundation down and then building the bricks on top of it. It's essentially what a foundation chain is. So we're going to do a chain, and to do that we are going to yarn over, kind of sweep your hook downwards and then through that stitch, and now we have our first little foundation chain here. You're going to yarn over, go down with your hook through the stitch, and I'm kind of rowboating, so like back to front, and then I'm grabbing my work with my left, or I'm sorry, my right thumb and index finger, just to give me a little time to readjust my fingers on my left hand here. And then I'm going to pull it through the stitch again, yarn over, pull it through the stitch, yarn over, pull it through the stitch, and then I'm going to readjust so I'm closer to my hook over here. You don't want to go more than probably 3 stitches, especially starting out, without readjusting your pincher fingers. So yarn over, go through your stitch, make sure you're going downward with your hook, because if you try to come through it sideways like this, it's not going to work. So then you just twist it downwards and it comes through your stitch. Yarn over, go through. Now make sure you're going front to back when you do your yarn over. Yarn over, yarn over, yarn over, yarn over, and just chain until you're comfortable. You can sit here and do it as long as you want to. Initially, starting out, your chains are not going to look very uniform like this. They're going to be like real loopy because you're trying to figure out your tension, and that's okay. Just do it until you feel comfortable, and then pull it out. You just simply pull your stitches out and do it again. You do your slip knot. And there's many different methods to slip knotting. You just figure out what's best for you. So I have 3 chains right here. 1, 2, 3. Let's see. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Now I'm doing 13 because I'm going to work 12 single crochets into that chain 13. I'm going to be losing a stitch because when you work into the chain, you go into the second chain from the hook. So in order to single crochet, the loop on your hook does not count as a stitch. Your stitches are down here. So here's 1 stitch, here's 2 stitches. We're going to work into that second stitch. So we're going to push it through. We're going to yarn over, pull it through. We now have 2 loops on our hook here. Yarn over and pull it through 2. Then we have our first single crochet. Now you can see that you have worked into this 1 stitch. So then you're going to work into this stitch here. So you push through, yarn over, pull through. You have 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2. Again, push through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Push through, yarn over, 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2. And you can kind of tighten it down as you go. I'm sitting here using my finger as my adjustment. That just comes again with time. Push through, yarn over. I've got the 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2. This is single crochet. Your initial chain, like going into your chains, is a little wonky. It does get easier after you get through that first row of foundation single crochets or foundation double crochets, whatever it is that you're working into it. It does get easier with time. And there we have our first row of single crochets. Now, in order to go to the next row, you have to build up your row to match your stitch height. As you saw previously, the different stitches are definitely taller than the others, so you have to get back up to that. So with a single crochet, you're just going to chain 1, and then you're going to turn your work, and you're going to work back down that row. But when you're working, you see these V stitches here, you're going to work into both of those, not just one side or the other. You're going to work into the whole little V stitch there, that whole little thing right there. That is the whole stitch. So you'll work into, you chained 1 and you'll work into this first stitch. So we push through, yarn over, pull through. You have your 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2. Push through, yarn over, pull through. You got your 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2. Adjust your tension as you go. You can kind of pull that stitch a little bit tighter if need be. Push through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Push, yarn over, pull through. You have 2 loops. Okay, so here we go, getting a little faster. After you get it, you get used to it. It's a pretty simple stitch. These are your single crochets, and you'll go to your end of your row, which always looks a little off. Some people will stop early on, so it's important that you count your stitches as you're going, or go back and count as you go until eventually you do learn where you stop. Okay, so next we're going to go to the half double crochet. So a half double crochet, you're going to chain 2, you're going to turn your work, and you're going to work into that first stitch. But what you do is you yarn over, you push it through that first stitch, yarn over, pull it through the stitch, and now you have 3 loops on your hook. So then you yarn over and you pull through all 3 stitches. Yarn over, push through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3. Yarn over, push through, yarn over, pull through all 3. If you can't do all 3 at once, just go into the first 2, and then you can kind of readjust and then go through that last one. Just make sure that essentially you're going through all 3 of those loops. Yep. Yarn over, go through. You have 3 loops. Yarn over, go through all 3. Yarn over, go through your stitch. Yarn over, you have 3 loops. Yarn over, go through 3 stitches. Yarn over, go through the stitch. Yarn over, you have 3 loops. Yarn over, go through 3. Yarn, push, yarn, 3. Yarn, push, yarn, 3. It also kind of helps on a half double if you pull your work downward and your hook upward a little bit, to make sure that you're getting through those 3 stitches. And now you have come to your last stitch here. It kind of looks weird. It's okay, go right into it. Okay, and I'm caught, but there you go. So now you have your half doubles. Now you go on to a double crochet, which they recommend a beginning chain of 2 or 3. I like to do 2 on a double crochet starting chain so that it does not have holes in the side, or this side ends up kind of leaning bowed like. So now we will do the double crochet. We are going to start by chaining 2, 1, 2, turn our work. Now that chain 2 does count as the first stitch, so we will work into the second stitch, not that first stitch, but the second stitch. So we're going to yarn over, we're going to go into that stitch, we're going to yarn over again, pull it through, we have the 3 loops, we're going to yarn over, pull it through the first 2, now we have 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull it through the next 2. Yarn over, push through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, go through the first 2, yarn over, go through the next 2. And this, as you're going, you can use your left hand or your opposite hand if you're left-handed, using your right hand to kind of tighten that tension down to get those stitches nice and compact. Now you don't want to make your loop on your hook too tight, but just giving it a little tug will help getting that nice and even. Yarn over, go through your next stitch, yarn over, pull through, you have 3 loops, yarn over, go through the next 2, yarn over, go through the next 2. This is a double crochet. You can see how the space is a little more spacey than these single crochets and half double crochets. Yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, 2, yarn over, 2. Yarn over, go through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. Okay, yarn over, push, yarn over, pull, yarn over, 2, yarn over, 2. Yarn over, through, yarn over 2, yarn over 2. Yarn over. All right, and your final stitch, it kind of looks weird. That's okay. Go right into that. Okay. All right, so there we have our row of double crochets. Next, we will do a treble or a triple crochet. That's going to be, they say 3 or 4 stitches for your beginning chain, but I, again, like to do the 3 instead of the 4 so that my edge here is not bowed out. So we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to turn our work, which that chain 3 does count as your first stitch. So we're going to move into our second stitch there, not the first one, but the second one. We're going to wrap it twice. So yarn over, 1, 2. So we have 3 little loops over here. I'm going to use my right hand to kind of just hold those stitches in place before I go into the stitch. So we're going to go into this second stitch right here. We have our 3 loops, yarn over, go into it, yarn over, pull up. Now we have 4 loops on our hook, yarn over, go through 2. Now we have 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, go through 2. Now we have 2 loops, yarn over, go through 2. Yarn over twice, push, yarn over, pull, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So 2, 2, 2 on one stitch for that. Yarn over twice, push through, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. Always make sure that you're left with the 1 stitch on your hook. If you have more than that, then you've done something wrong, haven't completed the stitch, whatever. You might have had stitches on there from previous stitches before. And if that happens, just pull it out gently and you can restart. No big deal. So you're going to pull through 2, pull through 2. Yarn over twice, push through, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. You can see how long columns these are. Yarn over twice, go through the stitch, yarn over, go through these 2, go through these 2, go through these 2, yarn over twice, go through this stitch, yarn over, go through these 2, yarn over, go through these 2, yarn over, go through these 2. Yarn over twice, push through, yarn over 2, yarn over 2, yarn over 2. Now, when you come to the end, it's going to look really weird and you'll almost think you're done, but it's because you have that chain stitch here. You're going to work your stitches into that chain. That was your initial chain, beginning chain from your double crochet. So you are going to work into that. So you're going to yarn over twice. You're going to go into your stitch and just work it as you normally would. And then if you're just confused and want to make sure, you just count your stitches. And you have, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 stitches. Remember, this does count as 12 stitches. So there we have all of our basic crochet stitches that we've gone over. Now, if you wanted to finish off your work, what you would do, say you have your hook here, you just kind of cut your yarn wherever it is that you're wanting, and then you pull your hook out, and then you're left with a tail end that you would later use your darning needle, which I have right here. You just use your needle here and you would weave in the yarn throughout your project to where you can't really see it, to secure it in the back side of your work. You always flip it over and you weave in all your ends into the back side of your work to make sure it doesn't come out. Some people like to tie knots. I have always been told you're not supposed to tie knots when you're crocheting, but I've gotten to the point where I've learned to like kind of do a slip type thing where you can't really see a noticeable knot. But there we have it. So we have our single crochet, our half double crochet, our double crochet, and our treble or triple crochet. There we go. Thank you guys.